Now I know what you're thinking. Ash, why are you talking about Digimon? Ash, what is Digimon doing on my screen right now? Ash, how come you're not talking about Power Ranger Beast Morphers right now? Well, apart from Power Rangers and a few other series, Digimon is a series that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I was watching it at the same time I was watching Power Rangers as a kid, with the later seasons of Power Rangers. But Digimon is getting a reboot or a reboot slash reimagining, and in this video, we are gonna go over that reboot slash reimagining because oh boy, this sounds like it's gonna be really, really freaking crazy with Digimon getting a reboot in 2020 because this just came out of nowhere. I don't think they announced it was in production. I don't think they teased it. They might have teased it and I missed it, but looking at this key visual, the animation looks lovely. I know it's that new animation style that Toei does, but looking at the key visual, this poster, the animation and the designs for like Raymon and Taichi and Sora and all the other characters, they look freaking lovely. I love them. They look amazing. They look awesome. I'm in love with it. I'm loving it. But Digimon is getting a reboot now. From what I've heard, it's going to be airing at 9 a.m. on a Sunday in April 2020. So I believe it's taking over. I think it's going to air before One Piece or after One Piece. I don't really know, but I know it's in that children's time slot for Japanese programming, like what Dragon Ball Super aired, because I can't remember if Dragon Ball Super aired at 9 a.m. on a Sunday in Japan and then that other show took it over, but I think this show might be taking over that show. Don't take my word for that, I could be wrong, but this is a completely new reimagining story of Digimon we're getting set in 2020. It's not a reboot, it's not a retelling, it's basically an alternate universe, a Digimon multiverse, a brand new story that they're telling. It's not 7 kids go to a summer camp and they get their digital partner and they make best friends and they're going to save the digital world. This sounds like, when I read the plot synopsis and what's going to be happening, is a totally different story from the original that we all grew up watching as a kid. So this is freaking crazy. Let's read it. It's 2020. Computer networks have become an irreplaceable component in human lifestyle. However, what humans don't know is that on the other side of the network lives an endless world, the digital world, and the Digimon who live there. Okay. So it's just giving you that. Now, this is where it says all this stuff is happening, gargle text, but this is where it's really interesting. Taichi Yagami, or Taichi Yagami, who lives in a high-rise apartment building in Tokyo suburbs. He has stayed at home in order to prepare for his summer camp at the end of the week, but his mother and younger sister Hikari, who have gone out to Shibuya, are trapped inside a moving train that can't be braked. Taichi hurries to Shibuya to save his mum and sister, but the moment he heads to the train station platform, something strange happens and Taichi finds himself in the digital world. The children there meet their partners and face an unknown adventure. So that is very, very interesting. But it's not the original story. Like I said, they go to the summer camp, they're in the digital world. This sounds like a whole... Well, this is definitely a big, big reboot, reimagining, alternate universe retelling of Digimon Adventure that we all grew up watching. So it's a curious spin on the take, and instead of being set in 1999 or 1998, whenever it was set, it's going to be set in 2020, so it's a modern day Digimon. So it's definitely nostalgia bait, that's for sure, grabbing your attention because, hey, it's Digimon. People grew up watching Digimon, and Digimon probably sells to kids. Okay, so it's going to have Taichi. It tells you about Taichi. If you don't know who Taichi is, then I don't know, you're missing out. It tells you about Agumon, his partner. We all know about that. And an interview with the screen producer and the writer, Ashihiro Tomokawa. And I have checked his credits, and he did write a few episodes of Dragon Ball Super. And the stuff he wrote for Dragon Ball Super was mostly like the Trunks Saga and Dragon Ball Super and the start of the World Tournament, not the World Tournament, the Universe Survival stuff. So those early episodes before the tournament began and during the tournament, he wrote those episodes, but he did write some of the big major episodes in the Trunks Saga for Dragon Ball Super, I believe. I don't know if he wrote the big ones, but the ones that he wrote, I knew that those numbers I remember being in those episodes. So he did play a part in writing the Trunks saga for Dragon Ball Super. So let's read the interview. What points should we pay attention with the new visual poster? Sakurada, I believe his name is. There is a new Digivice that Taichi is holding, as well as the starring characters' designs who have all changed in the background. In the bottom part is the real world and the upper part is the digital world. What kind of story is it? Tomoka. Digimon cause dangers in the real world, which Taichi's and the other will solve through the digital world, and there will be some realism danger that happens. Okay, that's so interesting. What are the highlights of the series? The battle scenes, which will make the best use of the Digimon's special traits and how they face the abilities attacking them will differ. We'll show each monster's different charm point through their fighting. That's an interesting point, because if you remember watching the older Digimon series, they had to recycle animation a lot, like especially when they did attacks and stuff like that. So the fights in the old Digimon series, they weren't always the best, especially in Adventure and maybe Adventure 02, because there was a lot of recycled animation that Toei used back in the day. So it sounds like Toei or whoever's working on this is going to use a lot of fancy animation for fighting. That's what they want us to keep an eye out for. What Digimon will appear in the show? Tokuma. It will be a festival. We'll be showing many as possible according to the situation without holding back. We have a small we also have a small surprise after the partner has evolved. That is interesting. So it sounds like it's going to be a whole new form of Greymon or the starters. That sounds very interesting. Are they going to take it in a totally different direction? Instead of getting Greymon, we get the Greymon that was in Data Squad, I believe, or not Frontier or something like that. I think it was a different Greymon in that series. I can't remember, but it sounds like the series is going to take a totally different route than we watched as a kid growing up, which is a very, very interesting point. Down here they talk about the card game, and that's where the interview ends, because the card game is something that is Japan only and we don't have in the West. But how do I feel about this new Digimon reboot? How do I feel about this brand new Digimon reboot? Well, I have very mixed feelings about this, because they are mostly banking on the Digimon Adventure nostalgia train that a lot of people grew up with, including myself. Digimon Adventure Tri was a bit of a hit and miss for me. I liked the first 3 episodes of the first 3 movies that we had. I stopped watching after like the 4th one, because the 4th one just felt so... I'm not on the group train where they didn't like the 4th movie. It's just after the 4th movie of Digimon Tri, I just tapped out. I didn't care. I was like, I'll watch it once it's completed, and I never got around to it. I even own the Blu-rays. I just never got around to watching them, because I did buy all of Digimon Tri on Blu-ray. I just never watched all of them. I watched the first one, Reunion, on Blu-ray, and that's about it. But Digimon Tri, I kind of tapped out after the 3rd movie, like I think a lot of people did, from what I've heard. But what I think of Last Kuzuna, or Last Adventure Kuzuna, well, it's not out yet. It comes out next month, and then I think sometime in March it's getting a cinema release. From what I've heard, it's getting a subtitle release. I don't know if Australia will have it, that's for sure, but I'm curious if we will get it later down the line. But this feels like it's banking on a lot of nostalgia, like I said earlier, but the fact that it's coming out in April in a few months is awfully scary, because this was just announced out of nowhere. No teasers, no teasers a year prior, no saying it's coming next year. Just out of nowhere, they announced this is coming out. And it kind of reminded me of Dragon Ball Super when Resurrection F came out, because after Resurrection F came out in cinemas, we got Dragon Ball Super. And we all know the production story of Dragon Ball Super, when we got to the infamous episode 5, I believe, where that looked really bad. And was it episode 5? I can't remember, but the Dragon Ball Super episode that looked really fucking shitty, and everyone memed on for the longest time, because that had rush production. And the fact this is coming out in April and it just got announced this week is super fucking concerning for me, because I feel like Toei might rush this and get another nostalgia train going, because stuff like Sailor Moon Crystal, Dragon Ball Super, they've all had rocky starts being those reboot series to bank on nostalgia, and I get the feeling that Digimon might be one of them, and that's my big major concern. I'm definitely going to check it out when it drops, but if I notice anything weird with the animation or the production seems a bit off, I'm gonna notice, and if I don't notice, other people are gonna notice who are a lot smarter than me at catching on to that stuff, and they're gonna notice, because them announcing this out of nowhere is super fucking concerning for me, to be honest. But anyway, guys, what do you think of Digimon Adventure Tri? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's not going to be good? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your opinions. Like, I'm excited for this, that Digimon's getting a reboot / reimagining. I know it's nostalgia bait, but I can always watch the original. It's on Anime Netflix or Australian Anime Netflix, Anime Lab. I can always watch it there. I've got the DVDs that Madman released. I feel like this is nostalgia bait, but I want to see how they handle it before I start bashing it and attacking it, because I'm curious how it's going to be, but I guess we'll wait and find out. And I guess tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you excited for a Digimon reboot? Are you not excited for a Digimon reboot? Because I grew up on Digimon. I watched it before I went to school every day, and to see it get a reboot, I don't know, I'm a bit concerned, but I guess it's a wait and see situation. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.